Regularized adjusted plus-minus ratings seem to be a promising way to calculate rankings for individual football players. However, as this video will illustrate, there are some choices to make when implementing the ratings, and some of these choices may turn out to be quite important. Greetings! I am Lars Magnus, and this is another video about football player ratings. In previous videos, we presented the main ideas behind plus-minus ratings to evaluate individual players in team sports. However, we kind of skipped all the details. Unfortunately, sometimes details are essential, and it is important to be a little bit careful when implementing the plus-minus ratings. Recall the basis for adjusted and regularized plus-minus ratings. A match is divided into segments, where for each segment the players involved are constant. The concept is that if we take the sum of the ratings of the home team and subtract the sum of the ratings of the away team, we should get the observed goal difference over the segment. The error in the prediction is then minimized in order to find the most appropriate player ratings. The detail that we will focus on in this video is that we need for each segment to correct for the length of the segment. That is, a goal difference of +1 is much more impressive if the segment was 10 minutes long compared to if the segment was 90 minutes long. Let us look at how this correction can be done using an example segment. We will return to our favorite example match between Chelsea and Sunderland from the 2016-2017 season of the English Premier League. The match can be split into 5 segments, each of different duration, with different players and having different goal differences. We will look in particular at the second segment, starting at minute 28 and ending at minute 62, with a goal difference of +1 in favor of Chelsea. If we consider the segment without correcting for the duration, the observation can be written like this, where we have one variable, called x, representing the rating for each of the players involved in the segment. If all segments were constructed like this, the interpretation of the ratings would be somewhat strange, and it would be equally valuable to win by 1 goal over 90 minutes as over 10 minutes. We will prefer to interpret the ratings as the contribution to the goal difference per 90 minutes. One way to achieve this is to divide all the ratings, that is the x variables, by 90 and then multiply with the length of the segment, which in this case is 34. If all segments are constructed like this, the meaning of the ratings are more clear. If a player has a rating that is 0.1 higher than another player, it means that the team using the first player would improve their goal difference by 1 goal every 10 games, compared to an otherwise equal team using the second player. This, by the way, was the implementation that we used in the previous video, where we illustrated both adjusted and regularized adjusted plus-minus ratings. However, there is another way to normalize a segment for the duration. Basically, instead of multiplying by the duration divided by 90 on the left-hand side of the equation, we can multiply by 90 divided by the duration on the right-hand side of the equation. Logically, this is identical. However, when estimating the ratings, we are using the method of ordinary least squares, which minimizes the sum of the squared error terms. In the latter model, these error terms tend to be much larger. If we then consider them squared, the relative importance of large error terms is increased. Let's check if this has any consequences for the regularized adjusted plus-minus ratings. First, let us recall the rating systems that we considered in the previous video, where the regularized adjusted plus-minus rating was the one giving the best prediction loss. Oh, and if you missed the video on how to evaluate player ratings, there's a link in the description below. Basically, we consider the ability of a rating system to produce ratings that are consistent even when different match data are available, and to produce ratings that can be used to predict outcomes of future matches. In the graph, better methods are found higher and more to the right. With our new implementation, the following shows the performance of the ratings for different values of the regularization parameter. Interestingly, it seems that we can now better predict future matches. The regularization parameter providing the best predictions can be fixed, yielding a new regularized plus-minus method. Finally, let's have a quick look at whether the list of the top 10 highest rated players change when we modify our implementation. The old top 10 list looked like this, with Messi just in front of Ronaldo, followed by Özil and Lahm. After our modification, the top 10 list turns into this. There is still Messi just in front of Ronaldo. Lahm takes third, while Özil drops to number 5. There are a few new names on the list, but they are all recognizable as well-known high-quality players. This video has illustrated that one has to be a little bit careful when implementing adjusted plus-minus ratings. In particular, how we compensate for the length of a segment can influence the quality of the ratings obtained. I think the ratings that we have now are fairly interesting. However, there are a few more modifications that we need to do before we can start to really scrutinize the ratings. In particular, we will look at extensions that incorporate the home field advantage and that allows us to make use of segments where some players are missing due to being sent off. Thanks for watching this video, and consider subscribing if you want to catch more videos on football player ratings. Take care and goodbye.